Yay, yay. Okay, so today, I think that the one way, and then it goes a different way. And I thought I was going in a very different direction in talking about I am a human being human. And so as I sat back and looked at this, and I thought, well, what is this talk actually about today? I realized that the intention is really to embrace our life more fully and to embrace our humanity and to move beyond these spiritual paradigms that sometimes diminish us, that keep us small, that put us in a comparison mode, and it's going to make more sense as we go along. I want to share with you first some scriptures that have to do with today. John 10:10. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy, but I came that they may have life and yes, to have life abundantly, have this physical human life abundantly. Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord's plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a future and a hope. Matthew 22:36-39, teacher, which is the greatest commandment or law? Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. And the first is like the second. And the second is love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, so just hold on to those. A couple of just quotes. By Tite Kubo, pluming under a cold moon, we are like fireworks, rising, shining, and finally scattering and fading. So until that moment comes when we vanish like fireworks, let us sparkle brightly always. Angus Tuck, don't fear death, fear the unlived life. Glenn Duncan, I don't know how one should live, but I know that one should live. And I don't know where this one came from, but I loved it. Let us not become so heavenly minded that we are of no earthly good. And then John Shelby Spong said, most people believe in life after death, but I wish that more people would believe in life before death. So in other words, it's really about let's live while we're alive, okay? Does that sound like a good idea? I think it does sound like a good idea. So today is I am a human being human. And, throughout my life, especially getting into unity, I've said many times, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And then I changed that to I'm a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in physical form. And, that is absolutely true, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. But one of the things that I have found on this spiritual human journey is that we sometimes get so caught up in trying to be spiritual that we forget that we are human beings. We forget about this beautiful gift of life, and that we are very clearly having a very wonderful physical human experience. And I think that sometimes what happens is that we discount our physical life almost as lesser than the spiritual life. That we actually sometimes negate it as though it's not really as important as the great out there somewhere, as the great, aspect of spirituality. And I sat and I thought about that and I thought, oh my gosh, one of the things I grew up with from a fundamental viewpoint was that, you're gonna, heaven, your great reward is in the hereafter. And I realized that in a lot of ways, sometimes we have to stop and look at where are we being fundamental in our own viewpoints. And I think that in some ways we can get so caught up and it's all about being the spiritual being, and that we make it that as though when I reach that perfection, when I reach that place where I'm spiritual in everything that I do, then I will have lived my best life. I mean, can you relate to that at all? Like we're putting it out there somewhere. And we've also made certain things wrong or bad. And in doing so, we set up paradigms against which we compare ourselves to other people. Anybody ever do that? Yeah. We judge ourselves. We judge ourselves as to whether we're doing it good enough or right enough. Oh, that wasn't very spiritual of me. Do you ever judge anybody else and say that wasn't very spiritual? They aren't living their unity principles. Yeah. Whoa, And the reality is that for most of us, there are areas that we just feel that we're not truly measuring up from the spiritual perspective. Do you feel that? I'm just not measuring up quite to the spiritual perspective of what I think a spiritual person should be responding or acting in my life as a whole. I think we all have areas where we think I could do a lot better from a spiritual perspective. How about I'm not spiritual enough because I'm sick? I'm not spiritual enough because I don't have money flowing in. I'm not spiritual enough because I lost my temper, or because I made a bad decision, or because I don't want to go to church or go to class. I'm not spiritual enough because I'm afraid. How many of us can relate to those things that we discount or diminish ourselves because we think we're not doing it right from a spiritual perspective? Yes? Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb here, although I think probably all of us will go out on the same limb, I have a feeling. But I want to tell you, we've made it all up, my friends. We've made it all up. All the rules, religion, God, heaven, hell, reincarnation, eternity, chakras, etiquette, tradition. God is good. God is a vengeful and punishing God. They're all man-made. We've made all of it up. Every bit of it. We've made it up. And as things have gotten made up along the way, they've been taught as though they are the ultimate capital T truth. And the reality is we don't know any of it for sure. We don't know any of it for sure. I mean, who really can say that there are past lives? Who really can say that there is or isn't a heaven or hell? Who really can 100% for sure say that? Yet, we feel better when we know that we are a part of something vaster, something that is greater than us, and that is good. And we feel better knowing that we work within a design of laws that we can count on. The law of grace, the law of cause and effect, the laws of reciprocity, the laws of attraction, things like that. And ultimately, I believe that we live our best lives when we live with some kind of faith. And you know what faith is? Faith is believing in something that we don't know 100% to be true, but we know it in our heart and in our soul. That's what faith is, my friends. We know it. It resonates with us. It rings that, yes, this is what is true. And so what I'm saying here, and why I'm saying this, is because we need to examine what we believe. We need to examine what ideas we are living our life from and see if they're really true, with the big T, true. And so one of the things that I was kind of moved to talk about today was this whole idea of spiritual growth. We talk a lot about spiritual growth and unity, don't we? A lot about spiritual growth. So the first thing that I want to share from is, and I've shared from this before, and thank you, Dwayne and Mary, for turning me on to this book, but by Anita Moorjani. This book is called Dying to Be Me, and essentially what happened is that she had a near-death experience. Now again, we don't know any of this to be ultimate truth. All I can tell you is it resonates with my soul. It resonates with my being. So she has this near-death experience where she is outside of her body. She can actually see things that are going on around her, and she remembers some of her experience. So I want to share with you what she said. She said, after her near-death experience, I used to believe that I wasn't spiritual enough and needed to work harder in that area. Then I discovered that we're all spiritual regardless of what we do or what we believe. We can't be anything else because that's who we are, spiritual beings. So here is what I not just get from that, but what resonates with me, and I hope I want us to get is, my friends, we can't get more spiritual. Honestly, spiritual growth, it's a term that we use. I mean, I still resonate with, I like to use the term spiritual growth, but the reality is, you are spiritual, period. And you can't get any more spiritual than what you are today, period. But what we can do is that we can reveal more of our spirituality, of our spirit, through this life. Through embracing this life experience, this physicality, this body, these emotions, our vulnerabilities, our great times, our sad times, through embracing all of it. We truly, I believe, honor our spirit as we embrace more fully our humanity. And again, I think that a lot of times we just discount a lot of it because, by golly, I need to grow more spiritually. And that's okay. But it's an incredible gift. This life is an incredible gift, my friends. This is a gift. This is an amazing gift that you and I are sitting here today, on this physical planet, and that we are getting to experience all that we get to experience. This is an incredible, incredible, incredible gift. Okay. So, first thing I want to say is quit comparing yourself to others. Quit comparing yourself to other people that you think are more spiritual than you are. We do that, don't we? The comparison game will only take you down a road that separates you from life. And I can promise you that 100%. So we've got to quit saying that we're not doing it right, saying that we're not good enough, saying that, we've got to quit negating ourselves. We are fully spiritual at this moment. We can't be anything but that. We aren't always going to be in this body, but we are always going to be spirit. I really, really, really want to drive that point home, that we are fully spiritual at this moment. We are source expressing. Now, what does happen is that we have taken on all these ideas, like I said, and we mask. We mask our spirit. We mask this light. Jesus said, you are the light of the world. You're the light. You're the light. You're the light. You're the light. Every single one of you is the light. If you would just take a moment and turn to somebody by you and say, you are the light of the world. And now turn and say, thank you, I know it. That's true. Thank you. I know it. I like that. That's true. Thank you. I know it. And he said, don't hide your light under a basket, right? And I'm going to share today that I think one of the biggest things that keeps our light hidden is not loving ourselves. I love, singing Swing Wide the Doors because it's all about love. It goes back to that over and over. It's about love. It's about love. It's about love. It's about love. And we don't truly love ourselves. So I want to share with you what some of the symptoms are of not loving ourselves. Things like, let's see if you relate to any of these: shame, unworthiness, a feeling of not being enough, can't forgive ourselves, loneliness, depression, lack of motivation, active addiction of any kind, and there are many, disconnection, harsh judgment of others, overextending, not expressing our authentic selves, and more. There are many, many more. These are symptoms of not truly loving ourselves. And all of these symptoms keep us from being present to life, from embracing this life experience. Every single one of these things takes us away from what we are here to be. Every single one of these things masks our light. Every single one. And aren't we here? I am the light. Let's say I am the light. I am the light. I am the light. And I want to express that. Yes, do we want to express that? If you don't, you're probably not in the right place. No, actually, you probably are. I'm just kidding. Okay, so Anita Morjani, I want to share more of what she says. She said, in this expansive state, I realized how harshly I treated myself and judged myself throughout my life. There was nobody punishing me. Finally, I understood that it was me that I hadn't forgiven, not other people. I was the one who was judging me, whom I'd forsaken. Oh, God, doesn't that feel horrible? And I think we can all relate to that I have forsaken my own self, whom I'd forsaken and whom I didn't love enough. I saw that I'd never loved myself, valued myself, or seen the beauty of my own soul. Although the unconditional magnificence was always there for me, it felt as though physical life had somehow filtered it out or even eroded it away. Kind of wake-up call, isn't it? Kind of a wake-up. She said, I'd spent a lifetime judging myself, beating myself up for not meeting these expectations. I always felt inadequate. I understood that true joy and happiness could only be found by loving myself, going inward, following my heart, and doing what brought me joy. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind and all your strength. And the second is like unto it. It's how we do it, my friends. And it's loving our neighbors as we love ourselves. As we love ourselves. That's how we love God. We would never diminish God. We would never say, God, you're not enough. Oh, God, you're so stupid. God, how could you let that happen again? You know, we would never say these things. God is love. God is unconditional, pure, perfect love. You know, Katie, in your meditation, I loved it that we were sitting there and it was like this, that embrace of God was just like so pure and unconditional. And for me, you felt seen and you felt known, and you are, and we forget that. But to that degree, we are. That is the essence of us. Pure, unadulterated love that is always with us, throughout us, and around us. That is what we are, yet we come into this world as physical form, and we don't give ourselves that very thing. How many of us feel that in every area of our life, we truly, unconditionally love and accept ourselves? Yeah, no hands up. It's a journey, and it's such an important journey. It's so important because you are enough at this moment. You are good enough. You are worthy. You are magnificent. You are powerful. You are beautiful. You are pure love. You are all of that. I want to share with you from Don Miguel Ruiz, 4 agreements. I know you guys know this because you've been doing this lately. We have the need to be accepted and to be loved by others, but we cannot love and accept ourselves. The more self-love we have, the less self-abuse we will have. Self-abuse comes from self-rejection, and self-rejection comes from having an image of what it means to be perfect and never measuring up to that ideal. Our image of perfection is the reason that we reject ourselves. It is why we don't accept ourselves the way we are and why we don't accept others the way that they are. Comes back to here. To us first, loving ourselves. My friends, there is no perfect in the world. There is no perfect in the world. Let's say that. There is no perfect in the world, because you will be measuring yourself against millions of people's idea of perfection. The perfection is that you are spiritual. That is your perfection. And you know what? That can never be marred. Ever. You can't diminish your spirit. The opportunity that we have is to expand our spirit, is to let our spirit be what loves those areas away that keep us from truly being our brilliance. I love in Brené Brown's work, she says there's a difference between saying I am bad and, I regret something that I did or something that happened in my life. And the difference is when you say I am bad, I'm stupid, I am la la la, it immediately takes us out of life out of the experience of life, out of connection, out of worthiness, because we diminish ourselves. But when we say, I regret, we separate our perfection from our behavior. We've all had behavior that is less than we would have liked, correct? Yes, of course we have. And so we separate the behavior from our perfection. And we allow this spiritual perfection to heal the pain that we feel from behavior, either of ourselves or from people around us in our lives. But we allow that spiritual perfection. So, it's as easy as, and I don't want to say easy as, it's as simple as when something comes up for us. And how do you know when you're in that place of self-negating, self-diminishing? Feel it in the pit of your stomach. You feel it in the tightness of your chest. You get kind of tense. You feel it in your body. At that moment, it's an emergency alert. You know how like you have a fire drill in school and you stop everything and you go outside? It's emergency, stop! I don't care what you're doing. Pull over on the side of the road. Stop a conversation. Emergency, stop. Separate yourself for a moment and just breathe. And just breathe, and just breathe. And move into that spiritual perfection, that place where you know that you are magnificence, where you know that there is nothing that is bad or ugly or less than or unworthy. That place where you know that you can feel that beautiful embrace of God saying, you are amazing, you are awesome, you are powerful, you have what you need, you have what it takes. And let yourself feel that and bring that beautiful feeling up to heal whatever's there, so that now you can step back into that moment and you're present. And you're present, your spirit is present, but you're present in life. You're there, you're present in life. It's as simple as that. I know it's not easy, but you gotta make it a priority. You've gotta know that that's the emergency button, and you gotta and stop and do something about it. So I want to close with this. She says, Anita Morjani, after her near-death experience, she knew that along with everyone else, that I'm a powerful, magnificent, unconditionally loved and loving force. So I'm going to invite us to say that and repeat after me. I am a powerful, magnificent, unconditionally loved, and loving force. She goes on to say, this energy flows through me, just feel it, surrounds me, and is indistinguishable from me. It is, in fact, who and what I truly am. Trusting it is simply trusting myself. Allowing it to guide me, protect me, and give me all that's needed for my ultimate happiness and well-being happens simply by being myself. I need only be the magnificent love that I am. That's all I need to be, is the magnificent love that I am. So I'm going to invite us to close it. Can you see that? And let's close by saying this together. I choose to make the rest of my life the best of my life, and so it is, and so it shall be. Let's close one more time with saying, I am a magnificent light. Okay, ready? I am a magnificent light, and you are. Amen and amen and namaste. Namaste.